Okay, my friends, today's project is this giant Jupiter robot that's actually an artistic sculpture. I'll show you the artist in a second, and I'm here with the assistant curator, Andrew.
Hello.
Ooh, bad timing to chew on my gum. Anyway, excuse me. Must be all those contrails that I'm breathing in. This robot originally was created in Canada by an artist up there. I'm going to show you his name in the back. And then it ended up at Comet Toys for a while. And then from Comet Toys, which was owned by Robert Johnson, who was the owner of Papa San. And what was his other? Comet Toys and Papa San, I guess. And then it went to Main Street Toys, Joe Morabito. And then it finally ended up in the collection here. It's close to 6 feet tall. Since I got it shipped, it was in its crate that had a Jupiter box kind of stuff crate. We re-glued the eyes, the nose, and an ear. And we didn't think it was functional. You know, it has these cool toggle switches. You know, it's French-Canadian, so I think it has both English and French markings on it. It's a pretty good job of depicting the Jupiter. You know, one thing about the Jupiter robot, it was rare then and it's still rare. See if we get the head on straight here. So, excuse me, you can see here the nameplate. This was the artist or the sculptor, Chenier. Now, what I was told by Sylvain Bazinet of Baz Toys, who was also a French-Canadian, and again, he owns Baz Toys. He said that this was actually made in the early 90s. So I don't know why they put this, because Sly, we'll call him Sly, and his father helped assemble this with the artist Chenier. When I got this from Main Street Toys, there was no plug here. Kind of looks like a printer plug. I wasn't sure if it was 220 being Canadian. So it sat and sat and sat. I mean, it actually sat at Vintage Coin Up Restoration until we got the rest of our rockets and stuff delivered. And I never did get a cord or anything like that. So I finally contacted Joe and he said, take out the back panel and you should have some stuff back there. So we just unscrewed it here. You can see the screw. And let's take the back panel out. And you can see we found a box back in here. And what Joe told me is this runs off a 6-volt motorcycle battery. And it had the cord was for a charger somehow, which I'm actually glad because I don't want to worry about a fire hazard. I don't know which one of these circuits is decorative and which isn't. And I could tell you, I can't even pull this box out. We both tried. This thing is wedged in there, and I certainly can't do it with the camera. I'll probably have to get the go from the back here. Whoa, 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 careful! I don't want to break that handle. So anyway, hold on, stop. So what we're gonna do is pull this out, and then I'll show you part 2. I'll have to stitch these two together, and we'll see. And then I'll have to probably. And the other thing Joe mentioned to me was that he did not ship the motorcycle battery to 6-volt because it was discharged and he didn't want to ship battery acid, which makes sense. Spill and corrode everything. So we're going to get this out, open it up, see what's in there. And then we're going to go find a 6-volt battery. I guess then we could use a trickle charger. Now, there's no place to run cables out of here, which is kind of weird. I don't know, like see this here, which looks like a hot lead. Happens to just be sitting loose here. I mean, is it a ground? Who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? So that's the other thing. I don't think Joe actually used this, but we'll find out. Anyway, so stay tuned for part 2. Okay, I'm back with the Jupiter robot part 2, the giant Jupiter robot. So I saw this, and I do have a lot of paperwork for this, and it says here actually the designer was R. Simard, and maybe that's the case. Maybe it wasn't this Chenier. So, anyway, where is my holder? You know what? I don't have it. So, put that there. We uncovered this box, pulled it out of here. Man, this is heavy. So I'm going to open this. I think this is just the, and it was wedged in there like a battery. And I can tell you that they should have just cut the box down. I almost broke the bracket that goes over the battery. And if this is a charger, I have a feeling it's defunct. But we'll see. All right, so we have, what do we have here? So it's 110 volt, I guess. Here's the charger. Although I have a charger, a battery charger from the 80s that still works like a top. So it's 6 and 12 volt. It's a 3 amp, like a trickle charger, basically. So it should work. So I'm guessing. Okay, you're plugging in there. But where are you charging the batteries from? Okay, so this right off the bat doesn't look very safe. Okay, I have no idea what they did here. Because you would need the leads to charge to the battery. And then these wires here, first I thought it was just one loose black wire. But what you have here is, I'm assuming that you got a hot, like a positive, a negative, and a ground. So would this be the ground, or would you ground this, or does it matter? But assuming that's a ground, that's a hot or a positive, and that's a negative. So where are you hooking up your terminals? And inside this thing, you have some kind of chain-driven motor. Again, keep in mind, this is 90s technology, presumably. So I gotta tell you, I'm not sure. And then I noticed this. You could see this frame member here. It's this piece of wood is through this metal-like support piece. This one popped out completely. It was actually crooked. So let's see if we can pop it in the hole. I tried to. Camera. It's close. Okay. So we got that in the hole now. There's no nut. This one has a nut, but I can't imagine we're going to move it. So now we have some clearance similar to there. I don't know if it added any better rigidity, but it's probably better than leaving it loose. I gotta tell you honestly, I have no idea what the hell these things are for. I mean, this is something else. So the chain itself looks a little gunked up, but not too bad. It looks like it still has grease. So maybe if the Robot Hut sees this, I'm assuming they kept their 6-volt battery here, but I'm still trying to figure out, what did you do with this charger? You plugged in your charger up here, and you're charging a battery down here. Excuse me. So the charger would have to be connected to the battery. I mean, you know, they're not running this off the charger. Right? They're not running it like this. The charger's not powering anything. The whole thing, that's kind of weird. because this is external, so you're plugging it. I don't know. I'm going to ask the Robot Hut. John, if you're listening, I'm assuming you have an exterior 6-volt, a 6-volt battery, which I don't know where you need. You don't necessarily have to, I guess you'd have to charge it somehow. You could charge it with a trickle charger. You don't need to charge it within this thing. Contraption, excuse me. And you certainly don't need this thing. That's kind of cool. Looks like an old charger. So are these the leads to the battery? So if I do my 6-volt, I mean, normally I'm used to like even motorcycle batteries have, from what I remember, I've had a couple of motorcycles. They have the plugs like a regular car battery. So let's, for argument's sake, say we get a 6-volt. We ground this one somewhere to the frame. We put the positive and the negative on. I mean, would this thing even work? Would it be even viable to try it? I don't know, man. I don't know. So that's it, man. I'm not going to drag this on. And again, the last thing I'll say one last time. If you were using a charger and you plug it in, the cord's on the outside, unless they remove the battery, that's the only other thing I can think of. They remove the battery, and then I guess the batteries have these plugs, although this looks like it has solder on it almost. You'd have to disconnect these two and put these on the battery to charge it on the exterior. Who the hell knows? But anyway, that's the mystery of this wonderful Jupiter robot. So you know what? I'll do, this will be one video, and then I'll do a follow-up video at some point once we get a battery in here, and we'll see if we can get this thing working. Until then, my friends, thanks for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.